Ha ha ha! Ready?
Hey, welcome. This is weird. I didn't plan this out before I did this. Welcome to another episode of Pokemon Go, something that I'm going to call Pokemon Go Masterclass. No joke, that's a bit, but it's hot in this mask. It's like freaking -30 all around the freaking country. It's like 130 in that mask, holy. Welcome guys, today we're gonna go over another masterclass video. This one is for the Twilight Cup. Yay! Really fast, if you are a local viewer, I have made flyers. If you see these flyers around town, I guess, it's to advertise the new Twilight Cup. Yes, I will be hosting my own Twilight Cup. You can't see it because it's horribly freaking focused, the stupid camera. Anyways, there's gonna be a tournament. You should join it. Okay, so what is the Twilight Cup? So the Twilight Cup is the Sylph.gg's tournament that they are hosting all throughout the month of February. It is live from February 1st all the way until February 28th, if my dates are correct there. I'm pretty sure they are. So, just like last month in the Boulder Cup, they have restricted this to the Great League, and they've restricted to 4 different typings. Those 4 typings are Fairy, Dark, Ghost, and Poison. Those 4 typings, in my opinion, are way more balanced than last month. After I really started digging into this this whole Twilight Cup thing, here were basically my first impressions. And just to clarify my process on this, I sat down, I made notes on several pages worth of notes, and I kind of transferred that into this. First impressions. 1. Fairy seems really strong. 2. Ghost is the wild card. 3. Poison has strong resistances. 4. Poison is the least effective. And 5. Dark seems to be a good anchor. And number 5 should have like an asterisk and say Umbreon, because that's kind of the only Pokemon that really gave me that first impression. I did another chart similar to how I did last month. And basically, the way that these typings end up working out is very even, in my opinion. I really like these. Fairy is super effective against Dark. Dark is not going to do very effective damage to Fairy. Dark is not going to do very effective damage against itself. Dark is going to be super effective against Ghost. Ghost is going to do not very effective damage towards Dark. Ghost is going to do super effective damage to itself. Poison is going to be super effective against Fairy. Fairy is not going to do very effective damage towards Poison. And Poison will not do very effective damage towards itself. Did I mention Poison is not going to do very effective damage? Did I just say that? The reason that I say that Fairy seems really strong is because Fairy only has 1 weakness out of all of these, and that's going to be Poison. So Poison is going to be really strong only because Fairy is going to be the typing that has only 1 weakness. Ghost is a wild card because it is going to be super effective against itself. It does have 1 resistance, which is the Poison, which is kind of good because people are going to prioritize Poison to work with Fairy. So if you're lucky, you're going to get, maybe a good matchup with a Ghost type. But you also have to remember that Dark is going to be super effective against you, so you're kind of in muddy water there. Poison has strong resistances, so Poison actually will resist Fairy, and it will resist itself. And because Poison is going to be used a lot, that makes it really good in my opinion. Poison is also the least effective. Poison is not going to do super effective damage towards Ghost, nor is it going to do super effective damage against itself. Here again, because Poison will be prevalent, not a whole lot of super effective damage going out from you. Dark seems to be a good anchor. So the reason that I say Dark is a good anchor is because the only type that does super effective damage to it is Fairy, and because it can resist itself if you get locked out and the last Pokemon on your team is a Dark type and all your opponent has are, I don't know, Dark moves or Ghost moves or whatever, you're basically going to have like a really good anchor. Plus, Umbreon is like a super tank. I mean, he's crazy, like crazy strong. So yeah, that's these first impressions explained. Just like last month, I do predict that there's going to be a rock, paper, scissors type deal just like last month. I feel like the Fairy type Pokemon are going to go after the Dark type Pokemon are going to counter the Poison, and the Poison types are going to counter the Fairies. I feel like those three and how they are going to cooperate, I think that's going to be the way that the basic rock, paper, scissors type goes. Ghost over here is just a paste eater. He's literally just sitting over there shoving paste into his mouth because he's super effective against himself. After taking a really, really deep dive into all of the Pokemon, just like I said, I took a freaking, I took like 2 hours coming up with all these Pokemon and like what they're actually going to be good against. These are all of the moves that I ended up doing, all of their freaking things, and that took like 2 hours. So here's what I came up with. So I went through my huge list. I wrote down all of the Pokemon that had one of these types of moves and were one of those typings. And these are like the top 3, excluding Ghost. These are the top ones out of each category that I came up with. To explain why these 4 typings are really going to be necessary, Steel is going to be good against Fairy. Bug is going to be good against Dark. Bug is going to be good against Dark. I have this written down. Hang on. I was correct. So Steel is going to be super effective against Fairy. Bug is going to be super effective against Dark. Psychic is actually going to counter Ghost and Poison. And then Ground is going to actually be super effective to Poison as well. So the fact that you have these typings in your moveset is going to just really make you excel. So Togetic. It's actually really good. The problem is that it's going to get wrecked by most poison types, and there's so many poison types to choose from. You're probably going to go up against really strong poison types. Being that it's pure Fairy, it just doesn't have anything to really like guard itself with. The only thing it has really going for it is it does have a Psychic fast move, which I love. That's the reason that I chose Togetic as like one of those like great Pokemon. I really, really like Togetic. I just think it's going to be a little too fragile. You can go for the Togekiss. You're going to have to trade quite a bit to get one that's a lower IV than the the normal floor for hatching eggs. And then on top of that, it does not have a Psychic fast move unless you luck out and get like Hidden Power Psychic. I don't know, I would much rather spend resources on Togetic than to try and get like a 1 in 18, whatever the odds are to get Hidden Power Psychic. It's got to be really freaking insane. So that brings us to Gardevoir. The reason that I chose Gardevoir to be on this list is because Gardevoir actually does really, really well. I really like the damage that she can output, but the problem is that there's no Fairy fast move, which kind of sets her up in a better situation because she has a Psychic fast move. Her Psychic fast move is going to do super effective damage to both Ghost and Poison, so she ends up getting some decent type coverage there. And the fact that she can have Shadow Ball or a Fairy type move means that she can kind of like play around with whatever typing she wants to really go after. If she wants to go after Dark, Poison, and Ghost, then she can just throw on a Fairy move. If she wants to go after Ghost with her charge move, then she can just have Shadow Ball. Really, really nice there. Mawile is... holy cow. I feel like Mawile is going to be the most expensive freaking Pokemon to get in this freaking league. If you can't tell, I really want to use one this month, but candies and dust are really freaking low this month. So, Mawile is actually going to have a Steel move, which actually ends up being good against Fairy. And then she's actually going to be Fairy and Steel herself, so she's not going to take super effective damage against the Fairy typing, which is just great. I really, really like Mawile. For our dark type Pokemon, I do have Honchkrow down. Honchkrow actually has... I don't remember. Honchkrow actually has dark, flying, and bug type moves. That actually ends up making him really good against dark type Pokemon, which he's also going to resist because he's dark type. And he also has flying moves for like Toxicroak, stuff like that. He ends up being really good. Drapion. Drapion is dark and bug, right? Can't remember. Drapion's actually going to have bug, poison, dark, and water. It actually has like water tail or something like that. It doesn't make any sense to me, but oh well. So the bug type, of course, is going to do good against dark. The poison types are going to do good against fairies. The dark type moves are actually going to do good against ghost. So he actually has a really, really good freaking coverage because he's dark himself. So that means dark isn't going to do super effective damage to him. He's actually going to resist dark moves. But he'll be able to do super effective damage to all three of the other typings. Holy cow. Like, that's amazing. For Absol, I actually have it written down that it has Psychic, Dark, Bug, and Electric. So, Electric, yeah, it's actually going to do some good. We'll get to that in a second. So, Psychic, of course, is going to do good against Poison and Ghost. Your Dark type moves are going to do good against Ghost as well. Your Bug type moves are going to cover your Dark weakness, or your Bug type moves are going to cover your Dark Pokemon. And your Electric type, they may actually come in handy for one particular Pokemon there that's probably going to be in the meta here. Next we have our poison typings. So I actually have 3 Pokemon that I want to talk about. Nidoking, Nidoqueen, and Toxicroak. So I adore these 3 Pokemon. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know that I believe these 3 Pokemon are the best poison typings to have this month. A lot of people are going to say it's Tentacruel, but I'll get to that. Nidoking is actually going to be really good because Nidoking actually has Steel, Poison, Bug, and Ground type moves. So he can have Steel, Bug, and Ground. He can actually cover all kinds of different things. Now I know I've seen a ton of people talk about how it's only his fast move that's going to be good if he has Fury Cutter. Otherwise, you should definitely gravitate more towards Nidoqueen. I haven't done super, huge amounts of testing, but just based on typings, I disagree. So, here's the reason why. If you chose a Nidoking with a Poison type move, you're going to cover your Fairies. Then you have Megahorn, which is going to cover your Dark type. And then you have Ground, which is going to cover your Poison type. You've basically covered 3 out of 4. And you're already doing poison damage, which is the most useful towards the Fairies. Why would I want to have Bug as my fast move just to do super effective damage against dark types? That part doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I would personally set it up the way I just told you. Really, really easy. Poison, Bug, and then Ground. Perfect. Next, you're going to have Nidoqueen. So Nidoqueen is a little bit different. She actually has Dark and Poison as her 2 fast move choices. And then she has Poison or Ground for her charge moves. Her having a Dark type move really uses, it sets her up to have decent damage against Ghosts. But I really think that a Poison fast move would probably be the best choice here to cover that Fairy type. And then the fact that she has Poison and Ground type moves, that's actually going to help her cover Fairy even better, and then Poison. You see, that's the issue that I have with Nidoqueen, is she's going to actually counter only 2 of the, really, really prevalent typings. If you know that they're going to be bringing Ghosts in, then yeah, that kind of makes sense, but otherwise, just based on pure super effective damage, Nidoking seems to do so much better. But he just doesn't get as much love. And I don't like that. Next on the Poison, we have Toxicroak. So Toxicroak being a fighting and Poison type, he actually has some really interesting moves. He actually has Poison, fighting, and Ground type moves. A lot of people are saying that you should do Poison Jab as his fast move, but I disagree with that. I think that you should definitely use counter only because counter is actually going to do so much for your energy gain. It's insane. We learned last month, this month, should we count January as over? How many days are freaking left? Like half a day? So we learned from the Boulder League that counter is just going to just wreck people only because of how much energy gain you get off of it and how quickly you can then in turn use your charge moves. I personally would put counter on my Toxicroak and then put Mud Shot and whatever his poison type charge move is. Definitely. Wait, does he have a poison charge move? He does! He actually has Sludge Bomb. I did it. Yay for me. So, that's actually how I would end up typing my Toxicroak personally. And we'll kind of see why I do it that way during the tournament. I don't know if I want to give away my secret yet, because going to the Boulder League, I got a few people like local that actually watch me now, and I don't want to give away the team that I'm going to use because I might get countered really hard. I know that sounds extremely narcissistic, but I'm just trying to protect my ranking, okay? Last but not least, we actually have the Ghost type rounding it out here. Gengar is up there because he's just super, super powerful. Unfortunately, he's extremely glassy. You literally, like, sneeze and Gengar is going to lose all of his health, so there's that. He does have some really decent options as far as moves go. He has poison moves, he has ghost moves, he has fighting moves. I mean, he has a lot of different typings that work out okay. It's just his stats make him so bad in PvP. Next you have Alolan Marowak, which I actually adore Alolan Marowak. You guys have seen in a couple other videos of mine that I think he's a really, really good choice in the Great League itself. And he actually has ground moves, he has fire moves, and he has ghost moves. But that's kind of it. He only has ghost and ground, I'm pretty sure. And that makes him have a really hard time because he can cover ghost and poison, but that's it. He kind of gets wrecked by dark types. That brings us to these three Pokemon right here. These are the three Pokemon that I see everybody talking about. Everybody seems to want to use Azumarill, Umbreon, and Tentacruel. I think Azurill, if you get a nice Azurill out of an egg, spend the dust on it, spend the candies to get the reduced dust cost second move, and then you put freaking Water Gun, Play Rough, or Moon Blast, or whatever its freaking charge move is, Fairy Flutter, whatever it is, I don't know. And then you put Ice Beam on it. It actually does extremely freaking well. It's going to actually cover dark types. It'll cover ground types with that poison move. I mean, pfft, oh my god. I'm an idiot. It'll cover these ground typings with its ice move. And then with water, it's, I guess, also going to cover these ground types. You know, I guess it would cover Alolan Marowak, since fire, you know. Next you have Umbreon. Umbreon, they're talking about using Last Resort on it. Unfortunately, I don't have any with Last Resort. Umbreon is actually really good. It ends up being really tanky, and because of its pure dark typing, it's only going to be weak to Fairy in this scenario, unless they're running like bugs or something else, which is kind of why I've highlighted some nice bug type moves down here for you. Then we have Tentacruel, and Tentacruel is the one that I seem to disagree with the absolute most this month. Just like I completely disagreed with Melmetal last month, I'm probably going to get completely wrecked right here because of Tentacruel, okay? I don't like Tentacruel because, one, people are setting him up with a poison-type fast move, and because he's water, he's going to basically do super effective damage to Azumarill, and he's going to take not very effective damage in return because of his water typing. That's all he seems to be good for, because poison type isn't going to be super effective against anything else. And he's a one-trick pony. Guys, please, I'm begging people. I know that Tentacruel has its use, but it's a dead slot in your team. By the way, my brother went to a tournament the other day with me, didn't have a revive. He literally fought the entire tournament with 5 Pokemon. And he went 2-2, so he did actually pretty well. So that is actually going to be my full analysis of the Twilight Cup at this moment. I highly recommend that you choose Pokemon out of these 3 plus these, what is that, 11? I personally think that these, 14? I think these 14 Pokemon that I have written on the board are going to be the best Pokemon for this league. That's just my analysis. Honorable mentions are definitely Alolan Muck. Regular Muck is actually not too bad. They have Poison type fast moves and they have Ground. So they actually do pretty okay against Azumarill. And then they have some coverage against their own typing. I think that's probably a better idea than freaking Tentacruel. That's better than Tentacruel, guys. Okay. So that's my analysis so far. If I come up with anything other than that, I'm basically going to spend the next couple of weeks freaking catching all the Azumarill that I can, because, it was actually pretty freaking sweet that Azumarill got added to the raid boss list yesterday with Palkia. So, go get you one. I personally did one myself today. It was okay. Problem that I have with it is going to cost so much to power up, because, like, best IVs that you can possibly get on this Azumarill, unless it's weather boosted, is less than 1,000 CP total. Like, so much freaking dust. So yeah, that is actually my full analysis, guys. I am encouraging you guys to comment down below. I don't want to argue with you, but I'll discuss things with you. I try to be civil, and I'd love to hear your guys' ideas, what you guys are thinking of taking this month. And closer to the day of my tournament, I will definitely release what I will be running. If by chance I'm going to a second tournament this month, then I will do that a different way. I'll try to switch up my team in some manner. If I completely flop on the first tournament, I'm going all in on my original idea on the second one. Or it might be vice versa. If I flop on the first one with my idea, I'm just going to go straight meta on the second one. So yeah, if you guys are at all interested in coming to my own hosted tournament, it's going to be in Yadkinville, North Carolina. It's going to be on February 23rd at 2 p.m. It is the Saturday after Community Day. I'm holding it at 2 p.m. because that's kind of like normal, Community Day time anyways for us. It's going to be at the Yadkinville Community Park. I will leave all the links down in the description below. I have a Discord server that I've started. I'm trying to get a hold of people. It's very fleshed out, but there's just not a whole lot of members yet. I literally haven't advertised it until this video. I'm going to go stick these flyers up around town. I'm going to stick them all around the county and see hopefully what we can get. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you like to like videos, make sure you do that. If you don't, you can be that guy. If you want to leave a comment down below, let me know what you have to say. And until tomorrow, we're going to see the Broly movie tomorrow. So I'll probably just show you guys the raids that I did today on tomorrow's video. Alright, see you guys.